So let's talk about the book head heart method of annotating. It's for short BHH. You're going to do this not just for your second reading assignment, but for all of your reading assignments from here on out where On the Come Up is concerned. So when you look at the assignment for On the Come Up, and let me just make this bigger. It says, use your On the Come Up interactive notebook to complete this assignment. It is at the top of the classwork page. Read chapters 2 and 3 of On the Come Up. Start with the before reading slide. Then read and complete the BHH notes as you were directed to do in the Edpuzzle lesson. That's this lesson. And then when you're finished, you'll do the short after reading writing prompt. There's a rubric here by which I grade you on these assignments, by the way. Okay? So let's go up to the interactive journal and open her up. So when we look at our timeline, we'll see chapters 2 and 3 start on slide 11. So before you read this section, I want you to watch this short video of the author, Angie Thomas, and then I want you to personally respond to the video clip. It says, what things struck you as interesting or important and why? Please cite specific details from the video clip and explain why those ideas are meaningful to you. So as always, folks, I want you to remember that you are required to write more than one sentence here. Okay? You need to actually cite things that she says in the video to back up your ideas. So please make sure you're doing that if you want full credit for this assignment. So you'll watch this video.
I am going to do a rap from one of the opening chapters of On the Come Up. This is from Bree's perspective during a battle. And if you know anything about hip hop, you know that battle rapping is a huge part of it. This goes back to the culture of the dozens in the African American community, where you basically those yo mama jokes. Those were the dozens. So battle rapping was birthed from that. A little history for you. Okay. So here's Bree's.
Okay, so you will watch that video and watch the rap that she does, which you will also read in the second and third chapters. Okay? So continuing to the next page. So you'll do that before you read. And then while you read, I want you to annotate. Here's how you're going to do it. You are going to use the book head heart notes sheet slide. So this section is for what's in the book, this is for what's in your head, and this is for what's in your heart. Let's look at what that means. BHH reading, notice I have cited that I got this idea from Kylene Beers and Robert E. Probst's book called Disrupting Thinking, Why How We Read Matters. So I'm acknowledging, as I should, that this is not my idea. I got it from somebody else, and we call that citing your sources. So in BHH reading, when you read, here's what I want you to think about. First, let's go back. First, what's in the book, okay? So what is this chapter about? Like, what is literally happening in this story? What is the plot? 2, who is telling the story? In this case, it's Bree. Everything in this book is told from the first person point of view, from Brianna's perspective. And 3rd, what does the author want me to know? So this is where you're just going to jot down things that literally happened in the story. This character did this, and this character did that, and these things happened, and somebody said this, and yada, yada, yada. Okay? So the B stands for book. What is in the book? The first H is for what's in your head. Okay? What are you thinking? So write down things that surprised you. What does the author think I already know? In other words, what are you questioning? The author thought I knew what this meant, but I don't, so I have questions. What changed, challenged, or confirmed my thinking, and what did I notice? So you'll see that there's very similar verbiage here as what you do when you do your article of the week. Surprise, question, and the 3 C's, change, challenge, confirm, thinking. That's what you're going to put in the first H column for what is in your head. What are you thinking? The last H stands for your heart, or how are you feeling, okay? Because we always associate feelings with our hearts. So in that last box, you're going to write about these kinds of things. What did I learn about me or my world? How could this change how I feel about something? How will this help me to be better? Better as a person, better as a friend, better as a daughter or a mother or a father or a brother or an aunt or an uncle or a cousin or a friend. Any of those things will do, okay? So it's really easy if you just remember. Literally, tell me what's in the book, then tell me what you think about what you read, then tell me how you felt about what you read. So you can do one of a couple things. One, you can just go ahead and type your thoughts on the slides in the boxes. Or if you have a paper copy of the book and you prefer to do it by hand, you can write your ideas on Post-its like you've seen I do in my book. You can write those things on Post-its and just kind of like stick them in the book where you need to. And then you can take pictures of them and you can import them onto your slide. So if you have that kind of tech savvy and you'd prefer to handwrite things and then just import photos of it to your slide, you can do that as well. So that's just a handy idea for if you have a book that you're borrowing and you need to annotate about it, but you aren't allowed to write in the book because it's not your book. Okay? The other thing you could do is if it were your book, like if you bought your own book, like I know one of you actually got a hard copy, which is super exciting. I think that was Deontay. If you want, you can actually write your ideas in the book, and then you can just photograph those and import those onto your slides. But the easiest way, of course, is just to go ahead and type what you're thinking onto the slides. And I recommend, like with Article of the Week, you don't wait until the end to do that. You actually write these things down as you are reading the book. So you might just have your computer open in front of you, and every time something comes to mind that you want to annotate, just type it into the slide. Okay, so that's BHH reading. It's really super simple. What's in the book, what's in your head, what's in your heart. So let's go back to the assignment. Okay, go ahead and fill in the boxes as you're reading chapter 2. When you finish reading chapters 2 and 3, and you'll see these are my notes. Okay, and I'm not going to explain my notes. I'm not going to discuss my notes. I'm just going to give you those notes and you can make of them what you will. If they help you find ideas or help you think about things, or even if you want to ask me a question later about my notes, you are absolutely free to do so. That's another one of my notes from chapter 3. And then, as I promised, after every reading assignment, you are going to be writing a short argumentative piece, 1, maybe 2 paragraphs at the most. It's not a lot of room on the slide, so it's not like you have to write some 5-paragraph essay, right? But you do have to write an argumentative piece where you make a claim and you argue that claim, you list counter arguments to that claim, and go through the whole process that we've discussed, okay? And with a rebuttal and a so what. So I want you to choose one of these 2 prompts. Later on, I'm going to make it more open and kind of let you come up with your own prompts. But as we start, let's just make it simple. I'll give you a couple of prompts to choose from. So prompt number 1 says, Miles raps about a life that he hasn't really lived. In other words, he's frontin'. Should artists be allowed to get away with profiting from experiences that they haven't really had? Why or why not? So that is the first option for this assignment. Or, and please don't answer both questions, just answer one of them. Or, 2, Miles raps about the murder of Bree's father in order to shake her. Is it ever fair game to attack a person's trauma in order to gain an advantage over them? Explain. So trauma is any time that something injures us. It can physically injure us, like a broken arm would be physical trauma. It can emotionally injure us. If somebody that we love gets hurt or dies or hurts our feelings, that's emotional hurt, okay? Psychological trauma would be like if you suffered, like a lot of soldiers get psychological trauma where they fight in battles and for the rest of their lives, their brains play terrible tricks on them that cause fear in their bodies from the trauma of being in a battle. So you can choose either one or two and answer one of those questions. So that is what every assignment from here till the end of the book is pretty much going to look like. There may be slight variations, but there will always be a pre-reading that you do before you read. There will always be notes, BHH notes, and there will always be a short writing prompt. Now, as I mentioned earlier, some of you have just this, just the basics. And some of you who are not shaken by having a little more work to do, I've given you additional slides that are extensions. Now, this one is the extension for chapters 2 and 3. Please notice that it says optional for extra credit only. So you are not required to do the extensions. You are not required to do this slide. But if you want bonus points, and a lot of you have been telling me, we want more opportunities for bonus points, then do this, okay? So this extension assignment asks you to look at one or both of these videos. The first is Biggie Smalls' Sky's the Limit, and the second is Nas's The World Is Yours. Both of these are songs that Brianna and her aunt refer to in the book in chapters 2 and 3. So School Filter shouldn't block them because I asked they be unblocked, but even if it does block them, you guys have phones and I know you can watch them, okay? So you would watch those and then respond to the prompt if you wanted bonus points. Now, if you don't have these slides in your slideshow, but you want them, just let me know and I can go in and I can add them. But if you know you're going to be overwhelmed, it's going to look like way too much to do, then please don't ask for the extensions. Okay? I'm trying to make it easy for you. This is the assignment for today. You have 3 reading assignments this week, and you have all week to finish them. In fact, you have all the way through next Monday to finish all 3 of the reading assignments, and that's it. So I hope that you enjoy the book. I hope that you join me at 12:30 on Thursday for our second Jaguar Live of the week. We're going to talk about chapters 4 and 5 and do a close reading of chapters 4 and 5 in that particular JAG session. So have a great rest of your day.